The first 6 months of UGC are the hardest. By far, like 100% from personal experience, from seeing my students who have been successful with UGC, the first 6 months is hard. Welcome to the side of the internet where we get paid to travel. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create UGC content to fund your adventures so you can spend the majority of your days exploring the world rather than sitting at a desk. If this sounds like a dream, well, it's actually not. It's my reality, and it could be yours too, without needing to be an influencer or travel blogger or photographer. I'm your host, Maddie Garrett, and in this podcast, we cover all things user-generated content. I've been working in this industry for over 2 years now and have made over 6 figures filming outdoor and travel UGC content part-time, and have now taught over 5,000 UGC students in my masterclasses, programs, and one-on-one coaching. I help everyday people just like you start your own UGC business so that you can achieve this life-changing freedom too. Tune into the Paid to Travel podcast every Monday if you also want to learn how to get paid to travel. Hey everybody, welcome back to Paid to Travel, the UGC podcast. I am back today with a solo episode, and I'm going to be talking about the 10 things that I wish I knew when I started UGC, because there are so many things that I genuinely wish that I knew when I started. And I feel like I get asked a lot of questions on these topics a lot, and I think they might help some of you who are in the beginning stages of UGC maybe move through some imposter syndrome or just limiting beliefs that you have, or maybe just insecurities you're having, as well as some technical stuff. So let's get into it. Number one is the most obvious and kind of fundamental thing, which is that UGC is not the same as influencer marketing or influencer partnerships. Genuinely, when I learned about UGC, I didn't know what the difference was, and I wish I had kind of had it explained better right from the get-go. But basically, UGC, you don't have to have an audience, you don't need to have followers, you're not posting any of the content. So that's what makes it different from influencer marketing. It's influencer partnerships. They're posting it to their pages, to their audience, and they're leveraging their reach and their audience. And so brands are paying them for that as well as the content they're creating. Whereas with UGC, they're just paying you for the content you're creating. You're not leveraging an audience of your own at all because the brand is using that content for their own social media channels and advertising. So that's the big difference between UGC and influencer marketing. And literally anybody can do UGC. You don't have to live a certain place. You can do this from literally anywhere in the world. I have students from all over. You don't have to look a certain way. You do not have to have a certain aesthetic. I have had students of all different demographics, ages, aesthetics. Brands want real people who represent real life and real people. So anybody can do UGC. The second thing is that you need to be reaching out to more brands than you think you do. I think a lot of people get into UGC and they send out their first 100 pitches and maybe they hear back from 5 brands and they're all no's or affiliate partnership kind of stuff. And that can feel super discouraging. I think people kind of send out those first 100 pitches and then they're like, wow, I'm not good at this. This isn't for me. And they throw the baby out with the bathwater and they're like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. Please don't let that be you. Please. UGC takes time. And in the beginning, you're going to have to pitch a lot. You have to pitch a lot in order to get your first few paid partnerships. That is just the reality. And you need to be pitching a ton. I can't say that enough. People, I think, get in their heads because I'm putting in all this work to, pitch a bunch of brands and I'm not even hearing back from anyone. This isn't worth it. That's just the foundations of building any business. You have to put in a lot of work that feels like it's not going anywhere or doing anything, but you are putting in all of that work to get your first few yeses from brands who are down to take a chance on you because you are a newer creator. You don't have a ton of proof behind you. You're not an expert at this. It's gonna take putting in the reps, doing a bunch of pitches, proving your worth. And then it's going to get easier. This is totally normal. I promise. Don't feel discouraged if you're in that phase right now. And this kind of bleeds into number 3, which is that UGC is a long game. And seeing success with UGC, takes time, and it just gets easier with time. The first 6 months of UGC are the hardest. By far, like 100% from personal experience, from seeing my students who have been successful with UGC, the first 6 months is hard. And you have to put in a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of pitches, a lot of getting good at content, figuring out how to negotiate, and getting a ton of no's. And that's just the name of the game. You're going to get a ton of rejections at first, but the longer that you do UGC, the easier it gets. Like the difference genuinely between month 1 and month 6 is oftentimes massive. Like there's just a huge jump that you take as a creator when you really put in all of that work in those first few months. And that's when you start to get retainer clients, you start to see returning clients, you start charging higher prices, selling more packages, you learn how to negotiate better. Basically, you're in the fire, right? Like you are learning, you are doing. The first 2 months, you're kind of just like absorbing information and you're like a little baby learning to walk. And then it's really those next like 4 months that you are in it, your hands are in the dirt, you are learning, and you're kind of thrown in there. And so then by month 6, you're like, okay, I've got this. Like I know what I'm doing now. And it really does just get easier. It takes you less time to film and edit content. You start getting more inbounds, so you're pitching less. Basically what happens in that like 6-month time frame is you just get exponentially better at your craft. And so it becomes so much easier and you have all this proof behind you. And so brands trust you more, and it is way easier to land brand deals because your portfolio is going to be significantly better. The most successful UGC creators are the ones who simply stick with it. Number 4, and this one hurts, I'm not gonna lie, and it's kind of a hard truth, but every creator learns it. And it's that not every video that you create is going to perform well. And that kind of sucks because we want our content to do well. It like sucks when you create a reel for a brand, they post it and it gets 600 views and you're like, wow, they just paid me $200 for that. I feel like a piece of shit. And that's going to happen. It's going to happen. It happens to all of us. But here's the thing. Brands know that not every piece of content performs. That is why they work with so many different creators. That's why they buy bundle packages from you of multiple videos. That's why they get UGC in volume, because not every video is going to perform for them. Not every UGC creator they work with is going to resonate with their audience. Not every UGC creator is going to execute a video that works well with their product or their audience. And obviously, we try to do research and research the brand, research the product, research their audience and current trends in like video editing styles and things like that to try to create good performing content, of course. But it is inevitable that not every video that you create is going to be a winner. And that is normal. Like, please, please, please know that that is completely normal. And brands do not expect every piece of content that you create to perform well for them. And you also are going to get asked to do revisions on your content sometimes, and that's totally normal and okay. Like in your contracts, you can have in there that you'll do 1 round of revisions for them for free. So like say you send a video to the brand and they're like, hey, can you tweak this? Can you change this? Could you maybe add a shot of this? Or could you change this section of your voiceover? That's totally normal. It doesn't make you a bad creator. You're not bad at what you do because you got an edit request on a video. I still get revision requests all the time on content. That's totally normal. It's part of the creative process, and it doesn't mean you're a bad creator. And you can use the feedback and data from those revisions and from maybe those lower performing videos to shape your content going forward. So you can use that as kind of learning and lessons that you can then bring into content that you create in the future. Number 5, always, always, always have a contract. Please, I'm begging you. Even if it's a gifted collab. Like, I don't care if it's a gifted collab or a $2,000 campaign. Have a freaking contract. Because if you don't, brands can use your content however, wherever they want for as long as they want. They can ask unreasonable requests of you. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't have a contract with this brand, and they sent me through like 6 revision cycles of several pieces of content, and it was just like a literal nightmare from hell. Always have a contract. Always have, everything outlined in your contract, because that will save you so much time and headaches down the line. Number 6, you do not have to do a million gifted collabs. Like, I know that you're getting into this and you're thinking, I am not as good at this as expert creators. I don't really know my worth yet. I feel uncomfortable charging $200 for a video. I totally get that. Absolutely. And you need to build your confidence. You need to build your portfolio. And sometimes that means taking on some gifted collabs and taking on some clients that it's just, product in exchange for videos. That's okay. Like, it is not a bad thing to do a few gifted collabs when you're starting out to build your confidence and build up your skills. But please don't do more than like 5 of them. Seriously. Like, at that point, you know what you're doing. You're able to update your portfolio with good shit on it. You can have some testimonials from brands, put their logos on your portfolio, and then you can start pitching for paid deals. Like, I just feel like a lot of creators get into this and they do way more gifted collabs than they should be doing or need to be doing. And I just want to encourage you that it's fine to do a couple in the beginning to build that up, but don't get stuck there. You really don't need to do more than like 5. Number 7, UGC is basically rejection therapy. It sucks. Like, seriously, I've never been rejected more in my life than when I started doing UGC, because you will reach out to like 100 brands and you'll only hear back from like 20 of them. The other 80 will ghost you. 15 of those 20 will say no, or maybe later, or here's an affiliate program. And then there's going to be 5 that are like, oh, tell me more. Okay, so the numbers can be scary at first, and getting so many no's or getting ghosted by so many brands can feel disheartening, but it's just part of the process. Any business, any kind of service that you're offering, it's just sending out a bunch of pitches and getting a bunch of no's. But just remember that every no that you get is just one no closer to your next yes. Number 8, UGC job platforms are your friend when you're starting out. I honestly didn't really know about job platforms when I started, or like didn't really use them, and I wish that I did, because they're actually great for beginners. These sites and platforms often hire beginner UGC creators, and it's a great way to get your first few paid deals and get experience under your belt. And on the other side of that coin, don't get stuck on those platforms for too long, because those platforms definitely have lower paying jobs than what you can get if you are communicating with brands directly and negotiating with them directly, as opposed to through a third-party platform. So don't just stick to those job platforms. Once you feel like you've got a really, really solid portfolio of work under your belt and you've got brand logos on your portfolio and all of that, you can start moving away from those platforms. You don't need to be stuck to them forever, but they are a really good starting point for beginners. Which kind of leads to number 9, which is don't be afraid to negotiate. You have more negotiating power, like I said, when you are communicating with brands directly as opposed to through a UGC job platform or through an agency. And with that comes the responsibility to negotiate and learning how to negotiate, which can feel overwhelming for sure. Negotiation is a skill, and it is one that you will learn throughout your first few months of doing UGC. And negotiation also, I mean, it's a sales tactic, and with any good salesperson, what's behind that is that they really believe in what they're selling. And so as a beginner UGC creator, you might not even be totally sold on your own content because you're new and you're nervous and you're not the most confident yet. And so your negotiating skills probably aren't going to be that great because you're not going to be a great salesperson for something that you don't fully believe in yet. And just know that that's going to come with time. As you build confidence in your business and your content creation skills and what you can provide for brands, your negotiation skills are just going to skyrocket as well, and you're going to make more money with UGC. And as you get like stats from brands where they're like, hey, you know, this content performed super well, we want to hire you again. Stuff like that is just like, oh, thank you, ego boost. And it's really going to help you understand the worth of your content. So that's going to come with time. And when you kind of have that confidence, then you begin to negotiate more. And brands expect negotiation. Like, I feel like a lot of content creators are kind of people pleasers, honestly. They're people pleasers and they're perfectionists. And so a lot of the times they don't want to like step on toes or try to like ask for more from brands. But just know that brands expect it. Like, that is part of the process. It's the same thing. Think about like when you get a job offer, you don't take the first salary offer that they give you. You're going to ask for 10K more. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how this world operates. Companies are always going to lowball you, and you have to stand up for your worth and your value, and that means negotiating with them. It is totally normal to counter a brand's offer. It is also totally normal for you to send your rates and a brand to counter your rates. And there might be some back and forth emails of, hey, you know, this is our budget. Can you do this? And you're going to be like, no, but, you know, I can go down $50. I can go down here. Can we meet in the middle? Like, there's negotiation that happens there. And just know that that's normal. And number 10, and this one is so important. You are not selling content to brands. You are selling to them a desired outcome. Let me say that again. You're not selling content. You are selling a desired outcome. Brands don't want content just for the sake of content. Okay? Content, that means nothing. They want an outcome. So what are the outcomes that good content is going to get a brand? Brand awareness through, you know, reaching new people with their content, and ultimately sales. Okay? Their bottom line is money. Brands want money, and if your content can do that for them, then they're going to be sold. You just have to convince them that your content can do that for them. When you learn how to speak a brand's language, you are going to start hearing a lot more yeses and make a lot more money. You need to sell them your value, and this starts in your very first initial pitch. Like, this isn't just happening in the negotiation process when you get on a call with them, etc. This is happening in the very first email or DM that you're sending a brand. You need to be selling them on what you can do for them and how it's helping their bottom line of brand awareness and making more money for their brand. If you want to learn more about your worth and how to charge for it and how to create offers so good that brands feel stupid saying no to you, I cannot recommend enough. Actually, I have it literally right here. Reading this book. They also have it an audiobook on like every platform. I think it's literally free on Spotify. It's called $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy. This is a business Bible, okay? You need it. And it's going to literally teach you how to make offers so good that people feel stupid saying no and how to communicate your value. So highly recommend. It's a really quick listen and like short read. Highly recommend. It is truly one of my favorite business books, and I recommend it to every single one of my students inside of my program. It's like literally required reading. And that's all I've got for you today. Those are the 10 things that I wish that I knew when I started UGC. Honestly, I'm sure that I could come up with 20 more. So maybe I'll do another episode down the line at some point with some more lessons that I've learned or things that I wish that I knew. But I hope this episode was helpful, maybe helped you gain some clarity or overcome a little bit of imposter syndrome, which I know is so real. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week. If you want to dive deeper into UGC and get paid to travel, then my UGC Accelerator is for you. Join a community of over 100 current students fast-tracking their own UGC journeys. In this program, you'll learn all my strategies for how to get paid to travel with over 30 in-depth trainings, live weekly Q&A calls with me, and radical accountability to help you achieve your personal income goals. You get direct access to me as your UGC coach over the next 3 months, personal feedback on your videos, and a proven roadmap to land your first paid deals as soon as next month. Just recently, I've helped over a dozen of my students land over $2,000 in UGC deals within their first few weeks of pitching. I've had students like Lene be able to quit her nannying job just 4 months after joining my program, or Katie, who has made $12,000 since she started pitching 5 months ago, or Chelsea, who made $4,000 during the program, all while working her full-time in-person job. And to make jumping in an easy decision for you, the UGC Accelerator has a simple, no-brainer guarantee. Make back your investment within 30 days of completing the program, or I'll personally work with you until you do. Your success is not an if, but a when. For those of you who are ready to take UGC seriously and get paid to travel this year, click the link in the description to learn more about the program, and I'll see you inside.